Go ahead.
Well, Scott, obviously the highlight of that card, which was pretty good top to bottom, the main event, the way things ended. Can you just give me your perspective on that knockout by Sergio Pettis?
Wow, it was spectacular. When you see a quality matchup like that, and they were, champ versus champ. Horiguchi hasn't fought. This is his big comeback fight, and he looked great first 3 rounds. And Pettis is a knockout guy. You got to be careful for the whole fight, and you guys saw what happened. So, congratulations to the champ, and we'll move forward into the tournament from here.
Talk to me about the tournament. Obviously, the announcement couldn't have come at a better time. This is a good way to kind of, preset the table, so to speak. How excited are you to proceed with the Bantamweight tournament, and why did you choose Bantamweight as the next weight class?
Honestly, this is a division we could probably do a 16-man tournament easily. And when you look at the top, 8 guys, they're just all killers. And we said, look, this has to be the division. This is one of the best. This is probably one of the best divisions we have. And I think in that crop, you probably have, to me, whoever wins this tournament is going to be the best bantamweight in the world. And when it was time to pick the division, I circled around back with my guys, and they said, look, this is what we should do, and we went with it.
And I know the matchups haven't been decided yet. Do you think that will be something you guys will pair based off the rankings? Do you think it will be like kind of a randomizer, or we've seen in the past fighters get to kind of pick and that sort of thing? How do you determine the matchmaking for this one?
The time we did the fighters draw was when we had a 16-man tournament, and if we decided to go a 16-man tournament again, we would probably do the same thing. But to me, we're going to sit down. It's not going to just be necessarily 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. It's going to be, I think, something that myself and my matchmakers and the fight team are going to sit down, and we're going to pick the best matchups style-wise that we feel that we can put together, and that's how the tournament will be chosen.
Last one for me. Any sort of timeline on when we could expect this to begin? I know right now there's no announced dates for Bellator in 2022. I guess in general, when should we see you back? When can we see the tournament start?
Yeah, I think we'll have an announcement probably, in another week or so, but we definitely will be coming back in January at some point. We got some big fights ahead. I think that if you look at the fights, we have to finish the light heavyweight tournament. That's going to be a big fight between Corey Anderson and Vadim Nemkov. And when I look at, the beginning of this tournament, it will be another great fight sometime in the first quarter. Bader versus Moldavsky. I think that unification bout needs to happen. So we got a lot of great fights. I think MVP versus Amosov will happen in the first quarter or early second quarter. It's a good lineup, and we'll have something to announce next week. As far as the tournament, honestly, I think it's going to start sometime in March. Give Horiguchi, we'll check in on him maybe tonight, and then maybe tomorrow we'll have some update. But, if he's okay and he's going to rest a little bit, I think by March he'll be fine and we'll be ready to go.
Scott, congratulations on an incredible night. Going back to the Grand Prix, in the past you've had times where you put all the fights on 1 or 2 nights back to back. Sometimes you've done, one fight in January, 1 fight in February. Any idea how that's going to go, all in one night or separate nights? My goal really is to work it out with Showtime to see if we can get an additional time slot and do it all in one night. I think that tournament would be amazing to have all 4 fights on the same night, line up all those guys, 8 fighters, and then let's get it on. Obviously, the way Horiguchi was knocked out, it's probably going to be out for a while. Is that going to push the whole tournament back, or you just going to go with the... we're going to talk to the doctors and see what happens, but, if he's, under suspension up to a certain point, can't have contact, and then we'll factor that in. But you saw the level of fighter that this guy is. He's unbelievable. And he basically, to me, was controlling the whole fight, the whole pace, and then he got caught. And that's, that happens in MMA, and that's the beauty of MMA. MMA is fast, it's explosive, it's raw, this is the reason why it's so popular. And, what he did was spectacular, and what Horiguchi was doing up to that point, to me, was amazing. It was brilliant. And he got caught, and that's what happens. Last question about the Grand Prix. How about an ideal location? Is there a place you're like, we want to hold it here? The location hasn't been determined. And, there was a thought, if COVID wasn't here, that we were going to throw maybe the opening round in Japan. But that would have been amazing, right? Yeah, absolutely. So we would work with Ryzen and put it in Tokyo, either Saitama Super Arena or the Tokyo Dome. Wow. But COVID's becoming a thing over there again. They shut the whole country down.
So I think we're going to regroup and put it somewhere in the States, maybe in the Bay Area, maybe in LA, or it could be here. So, it's undetermined at this point.
My last question. I know you've talked about her in the past, but I got to bring it up. It's been a long time since we've seen a free agent like Kayla Harrison, where it seems like every organization is fighting over. I know you said that talks have gone well. Any update? I mean, are you still really pursuing? Are you really still in the mix? What's?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're talking to her manager next week, so we'll keep you updated. I mean, it's going to be interesting where she ends up, and we'll have her hat in there.
Hey, Scott, listen, congratulations. Great cap off to 2021 and, the journey at Mohegan Sun. To walk us through your thoughts about you, watching the main event, watching Pettis fight through the adversity, and what type of statement Pettis made with this victory right before the Grand Prix.
A guy like Pettis has such a great, martial arts background, has a family that has done this for 20 years. And, it's to see him just dig deep and persevere, because really there's a point where he could have just kind of gave up, right? But there's a reason why he's a champ, right? And even though he was getting beat, he was getting out wrestled, he was getting out punched, out kicked. I mean, I think he knew in his mind, if I could just catch this guy, I could stop this fight. So he knew he always had the power, and you saw the power, you saw what happened. So it's, great congratulations to him. He did what he had to do to win.
Final question for me, 2022 is going to be an explosive year for Bellator. While you got any, since it's the season of giving, the Christmas season, you got any gifts, any presents that you want for next year?
Were you talking about fights or? No, you know what? It's, listen, every day, when I mean, in this sport, we're lucky to do what we do. It's just like, it's an industry. And, I've been in the martial arts fight business, 30 years, 35 years plus. And I feel it's a blessing to be in this business and doing what we do. And I never feel like I really have to work a day, really. When I wake up, I just enjoy what I do. I love the guys I work with. I love the fighters I work with. And we have a great community, a great bond, and a great, camaraderie in the office there. So to me, it's been a great journey. So, I was texting everybody today, said, hey, we did a lot of great work this year. I felt like starting from the fight in Los Angeles with AJ McKee fighting Pitbull, because as you guys know, we were here for almost a year, right? We were here for a year without any audience. And so it's a different feeling, and it just felt different. And when we got to LA and we, had a great crowd with that fight in Los Angeles with AJ and Pitbull. And then we went to San Jose and Phoenix and London, and Dublin was amazing, and Moscow was unbelievable. I mean, I just feel like we're on a roll right now. And this is another, continuation of that process, is that, we're ending the fights on such a great note in 2021. And I was texting my staff saying, hey, congratulations. We're back up and running, and this feels right. Everything feels good. And let's just keep on rocking and rolling and doing what we do.
Hey, Scott, speaking of performance, over here. Speaking of performances, Spike Carlisle taking that fight on short notice and the comeback win that he had. It sounded like this was his only fight that he was offered. If that's true, is it possible that we'll see him back in the future based on what he did today?
He's a guy that I think he's going to be a fan favorite. And when I was watching his fight actually on my phone. It's like, he had a little gas tank, issue, but he took the fight on short notice. So I thank him. And I think most of our deals we do with people that come in, we have some options on the fights. We'll definitely extend them. And if not, we'll try to sign him and get him some more fights, because it was really entertaining. And he really showed his character in that fight.
I'm also curious to know as well, 2022, any news that you can say about what Fedor has planned or what you might be planning to do?
Yeah, so we have Fedor's fight coming up in the summer in Moscow. I'm really excited because, to me, honestly, he's the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time. And I know some people have their opinions, but they just forgot what he did in the first half of his career, right? And if you add that up with the second half of his career, Tim Johnson is no joke. And I remember sitting there going, all right, whoever gets to the chin first is going to win this fight. And Tim's a dangerous fighter. And if he hit Fedor, I don't know. But Fedor got there through a 3-punch combination on Tim like he was 25 years old. It was unbelievable. And man, this guy is just really special. And we're going to do something really big for him in Moscow, probably in July at some point. And and it'll be the ending. It'll be the end of an era, you know, as far as Fedor. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be a great event.
All right, thanks for the time, Scott.
Thank you.